While William I of Sicily has, perhaps unfairly, gone down in history as the bad, his son, William II, on the other hand, became known as the good. This has probably got more to do with the fact that he maintained good relations with the nobles than anything else. William accomplished little of note personally, spending most of his reign secluded in his palace. That being said, his reign was marked by internal stability and ambitious military campaigns. It is also of note that the king sponsored the construction of the massive Monreale Cathedral, which, much like the Palatine Chapel built by his grandfather, takes inspiration from both Norman, Byzantine, and Islamic architecture. When he inherited the kingdom in 1166, the young William was still just 12 years old, so for the next 5 years the country was led by a regency comprising his mother, Margaret of Navarra, and a row of emir of emirs appointed by her. When William finally came of age in 1171, the time had come to find a suitable wife for him. Initially, he was actually supposed to have married a daughter of the Byzantine Emperor MacLeod I, but in the following year William was rejected and forsake his plans to improve relations with the Eastern Empire. Instead, he started warming up the rather frosty relations with the Germans, signing a truce with his father's old enemy, Frederick Barbarossa, in 1177. To further cement their friendship, he also married his aunt Constance to the emperor's son, the future Henry VI. Since William didn't yet have any children of his own, Constance was actually his presumed heir, meaning that if William were to die, the whole kingdom of Sicily would be inherited by the Germans and incorporated into the Holy Roman Empire. Of course, there were many within the kingdom who did not want this to happen, but they were somewhat calmed by William's marriage to Joan, daughter of Henry II of England and Duchess Eleanor of Aquitaine earlier that year. Surely there would soon be a Norman heir to the throne. Meanwhile, William was sending his admirals on a row of military expeditions. The first one took place in 1174, when a Sicilian army of some 30,000 men landed outside Alexandria in Egypt. At the time, the famous ruler Saladin was using the area as a base from which he threatened the kingdom of Jerusalem. The Normans had hoped to put an end to that, but as the invincible Saladin suddenly appeared and their allies failed to come to their aid, they were forced to quickly re-embark and return home. They did enjoy better luck against the Byzantines, whom they invaded in 1185. Emperor Manuel had died in 1180, followed by a period of instability, which the enemies of the empire were sure to take advantage of. Dyrrhachion, roughly modern-day Albania, was captured in June, followed by the capture of Thessalonica and the islands of Corfu, Cephalonia, Ithaca, and Zakynthos. Finally, in November, the army marched on Constantinople. But before they reached the capital, they were confronted by Emperor Isaac Angelos and defeated on the banks of the river Strymon. Thessalonica was soon abandoned, and in 1189, William signed a peace with Isaac, giving up all of his conquests. He then turned his efforts towards planning the Third Crusade. He intended to let the Crusaders pass through his territories and sent his admiral Margaritas with a fleet of 60 ships to secure the eastern Mediterranean. Before the crusade had begun though, William suddenly died in November of 1189. He was still childless, and that meant that the kingdom would technically be inherited by Constance. But not if the Sicilians had anything to say about it. Led by Matthew of Agello, they instead elevated Tancred, an illegitimate cousin of William, as king.